The small house was silent except for the sound of soft crying. Every night when the world outside went dark, the mother sat by the window, her face hidden in her hands, her shoulders shaking. Her tears fell like rain, and the boy, her son, watched quietly from the corner of the room. He was young, but old enough to understand one thing. His mother's heart was broken. His father had gone, not just gone to the city, not just gone for work, but gone from their lives completely. One day he was there, strong, smiling, fixing things around the house, telling stories at the dinner table, and the next day he was not. People said he left. Some whispered he had another life, some said he was a coward, but the boy felt in his bones that it was not true. There was something strange about the way he disappeared, like a shadow swallowed him, like the stars had stolen him away. The boy could not sleep. He lay in his small bed at night, listening to his mother's quiet sobs. She thought he could not hear, but he always did. He would press his pillow against his ears, wishing he could block out the sound, but the pain always came through. It was the sound of a broken heart, and it filled the house like a ghost. The home itself felt abandoned, even though they still lived there. The garden grew wild. The tools in the shed gathered dust. The paint on the walls began to peel. His father's workshop was locked. The door closed with a heavy padlock, as if guarding secrets that no one should touch. Sometimes the boy stood in front of it, staring, wondering if answers hid inside, but his mother always pulled him away, whispering, "Leave it, it's not for us anymore." The boy wanted to help her. He wanted to see her smile again, but he was only a child. He tried to make her laugh with silly jokes. He tried to cook with her. He even brought her flowers from the roadside. She smiled. Yes, B. But the smile never reached her eyes. It was only painted on her face to protect him. When she thought he was not looking, the tears returned. Neighbors noticed too. Sometimes they came to offer bread or fruit. Sometimes they whispered when they thought the boy could not hear. They said, "Humans cannot survive like this." And her husband was not ordinary. The boy did not understand. Why would they say humans, as if they were different from the rest of the world? Why did they speak with fear in their voices, as if some hidden truth was pressing against their tongues? The boy's nights grew longer, his mind restless. He would stare out of his small window, up at the stars, and wonder, was his father out there, lost in the dark sky, walking on some strange world, fighting some battle no one on earth knew about? Or was he truly gone, never to return? The thought made his chest ache, but deep inside, he believed his father was alive. Somewhere, somehow. One evening, the boy found his mother sitting by the window again. The moonlight touched her tired face. Her hands clutched a small photo of her and his father together. Her tears slid down the picture, as if washing away the memory. The boy stepped closer, his voice small. "Mother, will he ever come back?" She did not answer. She only pressed the photo to her chest and cried harder. The silence that followed was heavier than words. The boy felt something stir inside him, a strange mix of sadness and anger. He hated to see his mother like this, weak and broken. He hated the mystery that stole his father from them. He swore in that moment that he would find the truth, no matter what. The house creaked as the wind pushed against the windows. A storm was coming. Thunder rolled in the distance. The boy lay in bed, but could not close his eyes. His thoughts burned like fire. He remembered the shed, the locked workshop, the secrets his mother tried to hide. He whispered to himself, "Tomorrow, I will open that door." As the rain began to fall, as his mother cried herself to sleep once more, the boy stared at the ceiling, his heart beating fast. Something told him that the answers he needed, the truth about his father and the reason his mother cried every night, were all waiting behind that locked door. The night stretched long, heavy with mystery and sorrow. But for the first time, the boy felt a spark of determination. He would no longer only listen to his mother's cries. He would search, he would uncover, and he would fight if he had to, because he was human, and humans never gave up. And somewhere in the shadows, far beyond their little home, something or someone was already watching, waiting for the boy to take his first step toward the truth. The storm passed, but the boy did not forget his promise. The morning light crept through the cracked windows, and the house smelled of wet earth. His mother moved slowly, her eyes red from another night of crying, her hands busy with simple chores, but her spirit still heavy. The boy said nothing. He simply watched her, his mind fixed on the locked workshop. All day he felt the weight of it calling him. Every time he passed the shed, his heart beat faster. He imagined the secrets his father had hidden there, the tools, the machines, maybe even a message. But the lock was strong, rusted but unbreakable by his small hands. That night, when the house fell silent again, the boy tried something new. He searched through old boxes, drawers, and cabinets, looking for a key. Hours passed, dust covered his fingers, cobwebs brushed his arms, but then he found it, an old tin box, hidden under his father's jackets. Inside it lay a small silver key. The boy's heart raced. He ran to the shed, careful not to wake his mother. The storm clouds had cleared, the sky filled with stars. He slid the key into the lock. The sound of metal clicking echoed. In the quiet night, the door creaked open. The smell of oil, dust, and iron filled the air. Inside, the workshop was like a frozen world. Tools hung on the walls. Machines stood half-finished, wires spread like vines, and on the wooden table covered by a cloth was something strange, something glowing faintly. The boy pulled the cloth away, and there it was, a communicator unlike anything he had ever seen. It was not like a phone, not like a radio. It was small, round, and marked with symbols that were not human. The boy touched it, and suddenly it came alive. Lights flickered, a low hum filled the room. The air itself seemed to vibrate. The boy stepped back, fear and wonder mixing in his chest. Then a voice spoke. It was not clear at first, broken like static, but slowly it formed words. Humans, listen, danger comes. They will arrive soon. The boy froze, his eyes wide, his hands shaking. The voice repeated, stronger now. Your world is not safe. Prepare. Trust no one. They are searching for him. The boy's breath caught in his throat. Him, he thought. It had to mean his father, but who was sending this message and who were they? He leaned closer, his fingers brushing the side of the device. For a moment he thought he saw shapes in the light, faces not human, eyes too large, skin shining like metal. They spoke again. Protect the boy. Protect the bloodline. He must not fall into their hands. The boy's heart pounded. They were talking about him. Suddenly the communicator went dark. The hum died. The lights faded. The shed returned to silence, but the boy could still hear the words echoing in his mind. Protect the boy. Protect the bloodline. He stumbled back, his chest heavy, his head spinning. Outside, the wind rose again. The trees shook. A dog barked in the distance. The boy felt as if the night itself was watching him. He grabbed the communicator and ran back into the house, hiding it under his bed. He could not tell his mother, not yet. She was already broken, and this truth would crush her. That night, sleep did not come. The boy lay awake, staring at the ceiling, his ears ringing with the strange voice. He thought of his father, of the neighbors' whispers, of the secrets his mother refused to speak. Now he knew one thing for sure. His father did not simply abandon them. Somewhere out there, something had taken him, or perhaps he had left to protect them all. And now the danger that stole him was coming closer. The boy felt fear, but also a spark of courage, a fire that grew brighter with every thought. He whispered to himself, I will find the truth, no matter what. The house was dark, but the boy's eyes glowed with determination. He held the communicator tight in his hand, its cold surface pressing against his skin. For a moment, he thought he heard the hum again, faint, like a heartbeat. It was as if the device was alive, waiting for him, guiding him. Far away, in the endless sky above, ships moved quietly, hidden among the stars. They carried beings who were not human, beings who were searching. Their orders were clear. Find the human negotiator. Find his family. Leave no trace. The boy did not know it yet, but his small discovery had already painted a target on his home. The night stretched long, filled with unseen eyes and silent threats, and while his mother cried herself to sleep again, the boy stared at the stars. He wondered if his father was up there, fighting, hiding, or calling out to him. The communicator pulsed once more, faint and blue, as if whispering, "You are not alone." The next morning looked normal. The sky was clear. The sun touched the roofs of the small houses. Children walked to school, and farmers worked in their fields. But inside the boy's chest, nothing felt normal. He had heard the strange voice. He had seen the glowing device, and he knew the warning was real. Something was coming, and it was coming for them. His mother noticed he was quiet, his eyes restless, but she said nothing. She thought he was still grieving for his father. She had no idea of the storm that was moving closer. The boy wanted to tell her. He wanted to share what he had found, but fear kept his lips closed. He was afraid she would not believe him, or worse, that it would break her even more. That night, as the world grew dark, he heard it again. Not the voice, not the communicator, but a low vibration in the air. It was not thunder. It was not the rumble of trucks on the road. It was something heavier. The windows rattled, the ground trembled, and the boy felt his stomach twist. He rushed outside, his bare feet touching the cold earth. The sky above was no longer calm. A light spread across the clouds, moving like a tear in the heavens. Blue and silver sparks fell from the sky, twisting into shapes he had never seen before. And then it came. A ship, larger than his house, silent yet powerful, descending like a shadow. The boy gasped, his heart slamming against his chest. The ship touched down on the edge of the field, its surface shining like metal water. No smoke, no fire, no roar, only a strange silence that felt heavier than any sound. The boy hid behind the old fence, his eyes wide, unable to look away. A door opened on the side of the ship, and figures stepped out. They were tall, taller than any human, their bodies wrapped in armor that shimmered under the moonlight. Their faces were long, their eyes deep and dark, glowing faintly like embers. They moved with purpose, scanning the ground, scanning the air as if hunting for something. The boy's breath caught in his throat, his mind whispered only one word: aliens. He had heard stories in the village, he had seen pictures in books, but nothing compared to this moment. They were real, they were here, and they were searching. One of them spoke, the sound sharp and cold, the words not human, yet somehow he understood. Where is he, the human father, the negotiator? The boy froze, his legs trembling. His father, they were looking for his father. The alien voice cut the night again. He has what belongs to us. He must be found. His family will know. The boy's blood turned cold. They would come for his mother. They would come for him. His mother stepped outside, hearing the noise, her face pale under the moon. She saw the ship. She saw the figures, and she fell to her knees, her lips whispering prayers. The aliens turned their glowing eyes on her. The boy wanted to shout, to run, to pull her back inside, but his body would not move. One alien stepped closer, his voice calm but sharp. Where is your mate? Where is the man who carried the human bloodline? The mother shook her head, her tears shining. He is gone. He left us. I don't know where. The alien tilted his head as if measuring her words, then turned to the others. He hides, but the family remains. We will find the truth. The boy felt rage boil in his chest. He wanted to scream at them. He wanted to defend his mother, but he remembered the warning from the communicator. Protect the boy. Protect the bloodline. He knew if he revealed himself, he might doom them both, so he stayed hidden, his hands gripping the old wood of the fence, his nails digging deep. The aliens scanned the area with strange devices, beams of light sweeping across the ground. When one beam passed close to the boy, he held his breath, praying they would not see him. His heart hammered so loudly he thought the whole world could hear. But the light moved on, and the aliens returned to their ship. Before leaving, one of them spoke again, his voice carrying across the night. The human race thinks it can hide, but we will come again, and we will not be gentle. The ship rose slowly, lifting into the sky, the air rippling around it. In seconds it was gone, swallowed by the stars, leaving silence behind. The boy ran to his mother, who was still kneeling, her face pale with terror. She clutched him tightly, her hands shaking, whispering, "They know. They know." He wanted to tell her everything, about the communicator, about the message. But before he could speak, she pulled him close and said, "You must never tell anyone, not even me. They must not know what your father was." The boy's eyes burned with questions, his throat tight with fear. His mother knew something. She had always known, but she had never told him. Now the truth was close, closer than ever, and he could feel the weight of it pressing on his chest. He whispered back, "I will find him. I will find father." His mother's tears fell on his face, her voice breaking. "Don't, it's too dangerous." But the boy only held her tighter, his heart stronger than his fear. He knew the aliens would return. He knew they would not stop until they found what they wanted. And he knew he could not wait any longer. The search for his father had already begun. Far above the earth, the alien ship sent a message across the stars, and far away, in the cold silence of space, Another ship answered. The boy did not see it, his mother did not hear it, but destiny had already shifted. The visit was only the beginning, and the real war was yet to come. The boy could not sleep. Even after the alien ship vanished into the stars, the night felt heavy. His mother's words echoed in his mind. You must never tell anyone, not even me. They must not know what your father was. That single sentence changed everything. He realized his mother had always known something. She was not just crying for a husband who had left, she was crying for a secret too heavy to carry alone. The boy lay in his bed, staring at the ceiling, the communicator hidden under his pillow. The soft hum of the device pulsed like a heartbeat, as if reminding him that the truth was waiting. The next morning, the house looked the same, but it no longer felt the same. His mother tried to act normal, cooking, cleaning, humming softly, but her eyes carried shadows. The boy watched her, wondering what else she knew, and more importantly, what she was hiding from him. When she left to fetch water, the boy moved quickly. He slipped into the shed again, closing the door behind him. The communicator sat on the table, silent now, but he felt its energy in the air. He began searching through the drawers, the shelves, every corner of his father's workshop. At first he found nothing but tools, broken machines, and dusty notebooks. But then, under a loose floorboard, he discovered a box. It was made of metal, smooth and cold, with the same strange symbols carved into its surface. He touched it, and the box opened with a soft click. Inside were journals, old photographs, and strange maps. The handwriting was his father's, strong and steady. The first page he opened said, "If you are reading this, I may not return, but the truth must be known." The boy's hands shook as he read on. His father wrote about meetings with beings from beyond Earth, not monsters, not invaders, but travelers, explorers, some friendly, some dangerous. He had been chosen by them to act as a negotiator, a bridge between humanity and the galaxy. He had been given knowledge, tools, and missions, all hidden from ordinary eyes. The boy flipped through the pages, each one heavier than the last. Drawings of alien ships, descriptions of planets with 2 suns, notes about languages not spoken by humans. And between the lines, warnings. They are watching Earth. They want control of our species. We cannot let them win. The boy's breath caught. His father had not abandoned them. He had sacrificed everything to protect them. At the bottom of the box lay a photograph. It showed his father shaking hands with a figure not human, tall, shining, its face half covered. Next to it was another picture, one that made the boy's heart freeze. It was of his mother, smiling beside his father, and behind them stood the same strange figure. The boy dropped the photo, his mind racing. His mother had been part of this. She had known from the beginning. Her tears were not only for a missing husband, but for a secret life she could never speak of. The boy understood now why she feared the aliens, why she begged him not to search. But it was too late. The truth was alive inside him, and the fire to uncover more burned too brightly. He picked up the communicator, held it in his small hands, and whispered, "Show me more." For a moment nothing happened. Then the device lit up again, glowing blue. A voice filled the workshop, not the same as before, but familiar. It was his father's voice, recorded, tired but strong. "My son, if you hear this, then I could not return. Forgive me, but know this. I never left you because I wanted to. I left to protect you, to protect your mother, to protect our kind." The boy's eyes filled with tears, his chest heavy with both grief and pride. The recording continued. "There are forces in the galaxy that see humans as weak, as tools to be used. But they are wrong. Humanity has a spirit they cannot understand. They fear what we may become." The boy's fists tightened, his heart swelling. His father's voice grew softer. "They will come for you, son, because you carry my blood. You carry hope. Do not let them take it from you." The message ended. The communicator dimmed. Silence returned. The boy stood there for a long time, staring at the device, the journals, the photos. Tears slid down his face, but this time they were not only from sadness, they were from determination. He whispered, "I will not let you down, father." When his mother returned, she found him sitting in the shed, his hands dirty, his face pale. She froze when she saw the open box, the photographs, the communicator glowing faintly. Her voice broke, "You should not have seen this." But the boy looked at her with steady eyes and said, "I had to. I need to know." For a moment she wanted to shout, to take everything away from him, to lock the shed forever. But then she saw the fire in his eyes, the same fire she once saw in his father. Her shoulders sank, her tears fell, and she whispered, "Then you must be ready, because the world you knew is gone." That night, as the boy lay in his bed, the journals hidden under his blanket, he no longer felt like a child. He felt the weight of his father's mission, the danger of the aliens, the burden of being human in a galaxy that wanted to crush them. And though fear still lived in his heart, something stronger grew beside it. Courage. Far above the earth, in the silent dark, ships moved once more, their eyes fixed on the small planet, their voices cold. "The negotiator's bloodline has been found," they said. And with those words, the true hunt began. The boy's world had changed. In just a few days, he had seen his mother's hidden tears, the alien ship in the field, and his father's secret journals. He was no longer only a child. He was now the keeper of knowledge too dangerous for ordinary people. But danger did not wait. Danger was already moving closer. That morning, the village was strangely quiet. The neighbors whispered more than usual, their eyes shifting toward the boy and his mother. Some of them avoided the house completely, crossing the road when they passed by. It was as if they knew something was coming, something dark. His mother tried to keep busy, her hands washing clothes, her lips whispering prayers. But every sound outside made her flinch. Every shadow made her eyes dart to the door. The boy noticed, and he understood why. The aliens would return. They had promised it, and promises like that were never empty. When night fell, the boy felt restless. He opened one of his father's journals, his small finger tracing the words. The pages spoke of a war in the stars, of empires that stretched across light years, of species who fought not for land, but for control of weaker worlds. And humans, his father wrote, were seen as both a threat and a prize. The boy's breath quickened. One note in the journal was underlined twice. "They fear us because we are unpredictable, because we can rise when they expect us to fall." He repeated the words softly, almost like a spell. "They fear us." Suddenly, the communicator lit up again, its hum filling the small room. The boy grabbed it, his heart pounding, and a voice spilled out, sharper than before. "Humans, surrender the negotiator. Surrender his bloodline, or Earth will burn." The boy's eyes widened, his chest froze. His mother rushed into the room, her face pale, her hands trembling as she heard the voice. She grabbed the communicator and almost smashed it against the floor, but the boy stopped her. "No!" he shouted, his voice stronger than she had ever heard. "We need it. Father left it for us." Tears filled her eyes, but she let go, her body shaking. The voice continued, louder now. "We know the bloodline is alive. We will come again. This time. Not with words, but with fire." Then silence. The hum faded. The communicator turned cold. The boy and his mother stared at each other, fear heavy in the air. A knock came at the door, sharp, fast, urgent. The boy's heart jumped. His mother gasped. She opened the door slowly, and there stood one of the neighbors, an old man with tired eyes. His voice was low. "They came to my house. They asked about you, about your husband, about the boy." The mother's knees went weak. She leaned against the wall. The neighbor looked at the boy, his voice trembling. "You must hide him. They know he is important. I don't know how, but they know." Then he stepped back, fear filling his face. "I cannot help you more if they see me here. I am finished." And he walked away into the night, leaving only silence behind. The boy clenched his fists, his anger burning. "They want me. They think I am weak, but I won't let them win." His mother touched his face, her tears sliding down. "You are still a child. How can you fight them?" But the boy shook his head, his voice steady. "Because I am human, and humans fight when no one expects it." Outside, the wind howled. The sky flickered with strange lights. The boy stepped to the window, and there they were again, ships moving silently above the clouds. Not one this time, but many, their shadows swallowing the stars. The air grew heavy, the ground trembled. The boy felt fear, but he also felt something stronger. He remembered his father's voice, his father's words, "Do not let them take it from you." He held the communicator tight, his voice whispering to himself, "I won't, Father. I won't." His mother stood beside him, her face pale but her hand gripping his shoulder. Then the ships spoke, their voices booming across the night sky. "Last chance, surrender or be destroyed." The boy looked up, his eyes fierce, his small body trembling but unbroken. He whispered, "You will not take us." The silence that followed was terrifying. The ships hung in the sky like predators, waiting, testing. The boy knew to chase. His was only the beginning. The real storm had not even started. But in his heart, the truth was clear. His father was alive, and somewhere, somehow he was waiting for this moment. That night, the village did not sleep. Every window stayed shut. Every lamp turned off. People prayed in silence, afraid of the shadows above. And in one small house, a boy and his mother sat side by side, holding on to each other, preparing for the battle that was coming. The journals lay open on the table. The communicator pulsed with faint light, and the stars outside seemed closer than ever, watching, waiting. The boy did not know how, but he knew one thing for certain. The threat was real, the war was near, and he was no longer only his mother's son. He was his father's legacy, the bloodline the galaxy feared, and as the night stretched on, a single thought repeated in his mind. They fear us. The village did not sleep that night. The alien ships still moved above the clouds, silent hunters waiting for their prey. The people whispered in fear, hiding in their homes, refusing to even look at the sky. But inside the small broken house, the boy sat awake, the communicator glowing faintly in his hands. His mother had fallen asleep in the chair, exhaustion pulling her down, but her face still wet with tears. The boy watched her, his heart heavy, and then he looked at the journal spread across the table. His father's words burned inside him, words about human courage, about standing when no one else would. The boy felt the truth. He could not hide forever. If he did, the aliens would win. He whispered to himself, "If they want me, I will not run. I will fight, like father." His small hands trembled, but his eyes did not. They were steady, fierce, awake. He opened the communicator, pressing the symbols he did not understand. The lights grew brighter, the hum turned sharp, and the air shards on him began to shake. A voice came through, not alien this time, but human, broken, weak, but still human. "Who is this?" the voice asked. The boy swallowed hard, his voice steady. "I am his son. I am the son of the negotiator." Silence followed. Then the voice whispered, "So it is true. The bloodline lives." The boy's chest tightened. "Where is my father? Is he alive?" The voice grew faint, as if it came from across the stars. "He lives, but he is trapped. He fights still, but he cannot hold forever. You must awaken what he left for you." The boy's heart raced. What did he leave? The communicator shifted, glowing brighter, projecting shapes in the air. It was a map, not of Earth, but of space. Stars connected by lines, worlds marked with strange symbols. One star pulsed brighter than the rest, and the voice said, "There lies the key, hidden fleet. His allies wait, but they will not rise unless called by his blood." The boy stared, his breath caught. "Me. It's me." The map faded, the communicator dimmed, and silence filled the room again. The boy's legs felt weak, but inside his chest, fire grew stronger. He stood, his small figure in the dark room, and whispered, "Then I will call them. I will not let Earth fall." Morning came, but the sky was still heavy. The ships above had not left, and people were already preparing to flee their homes. His mother held him close, her face pale. "We must hide. We cannot stay here." But the boy shook his head, his voice steady. "No, if we hide, they will take us anyway. We must fight. We must awaken what father left." His mother's eyes widened, fear flashing. "You are only a child." The boy's jaw tightened. "Maybe, but I am human, and humans are stronger than they think." She wanted to argue, but when she looked into his eyes, she saw something she could not break. It was the same fire she once saw in her husband, the fire that chose sacrifice over safety. That night, the boy walked back into the shed. He placed the communicator on the table, the journals beside. And he began to read every page carefully. His father had written codes, sequences, symbols mixed with human words. The boy traced them with his finger, whispering each line until the meaning became clear. Hours passed, the lamp burned low, but the boy did not stop. And then, suddenly the communicator lit again, brighter than ever. The shed shook, the ground trembled, and a signal burst out into the sky. Not a message of surrender, but a call, a roar across the stars. The boy stood tall, his voice steady. "To my father's allies, to those who believed in humans, hear me. I am his son, I am his blood, and I will not let Earth fall." The communicator pulsed, louder, faster, carrying his words into the galaxy, and far above, beyond the sight of human eyes, something began to move. Ships hidden in the darkness of space, long asleep, now stirred. Engines glowed, weapons armed, banners of forgotten allies rose once more. The fleet his father had forged, waiting for a signal, now awakened by his son. The boy had done it. He had stepped forward. He had taken his father's place. But the alien hunters noticed. Their ships turned sharply. Their voices cut through the night. The bloodline speaks. The boy has called them. We must end him now. The sky burned with lights as their weapons charged. The villagers screamed, running through the streets. The boy stood at the door of his home, his mother pulling him back, begging him to hide. But he shook his head, his voice calm. No, I will not hide. They fear us, and tonight they will learn why. The communicator pulsed in his hand, glowing brighter than ever. Far away, closer every second, human ships began to appear. The boy could not see them yet, but he felt them. He felt his father's strength in the fire of their engines. The world trembled, the sky split with war, and in the center of it all stood a boy, small, fragile but unbroken. He was no longer only a son, no longer only a child. He was the spark his father had spoken of, the proof of what humans could become. And as the first shots of the battle lit the night, he whispered one last promise. Father, I am ready. The night sky burned. Alien ships hovered like predators above the village, their weapons glowing red, their engines shaking the earth. The villagers screamed, running from their homes, clutching their children, hiding in the shadows. The boy stood in the center of it all, the communicator glowing in his hands, his heart beating like thunder. His mother pulled at his arm, her face pale, her voice breaking. Please, we must hide. They will kill you. But the boy shook his head, his eyes fierce, his voice steady. No, they fear us. I must stand. The communicator pulsed brighter, sending out waves of light into the sky, calling across the stars, and far above, unseen yet, an answer was already moving closer. The aliens roared, their voices booming across the night. The bloodline has spoken. The boy has called the fleet. Destroy him before they arrive. The ships tilted, weapons locked, beams of deadly fire charged. The boy clenched his fists, whispering, I am not afraid. The first shot fired. A beam of light tore through the field, burning the ground. The villagers cried out, smoke rising, flames spreading. The boy fell to his knees, the force knocking him back. But he did not let go of the communicator. He pressed it harder against his chest, whispering, Father, please hear me. And then the sky split. From the darkness came a shape, massive, powerful, a warship larger than anything the village had ever seen. Its hull glowed with silver light. Its engines roared like storms. The alien ships froze, their voices sharp with panic. Impossible, the human fleet was broken. The boy's eyes widened, hope flooding his chest. Our ship descended, blocking the alien fire, shields glowing, weapons ready. For a moment, the earth was silent, all eyes staring at the giant ship above, and then a voice rang out, clear and strong. You will not touch my family or my planet. The boy gasped, his hands trembling. He knew that voice, even after so many nights of silence, even after so many tears. It was his father, alive, standing at the edge of the ship's ramp, battle-scarred, armored, but alive. His eyes fierce, his body strong, his presence like fire in the darkness. The villagers fell to their knees, whispering prayers. The aliens hissed in anger. The negotiator lives. End him now. But his father raised his hand, and the warship's weapons roared, beams of light cutting through the night. Alien ships exploded, falling from the sky like burning stars. The boy cried out, tears streaming. Father! His mother covered her mouth, her body shaking, unable to believe her eyes. The father stepped down from the ship, his boots crushing the smoking earth. He looked at his son, his voice breaking for the first time. You called me back, my brave son. The boy ran forward, throwing himself into his father's arms. The man held him tight, his hands trembling, his tears mixing with dust and smoke. I thought I would never see you again, the father whispered. But the boy shook his head. I knew you were alive, I felt it. The mother joined them, her legs weak, her tears unstoppable. For a moment, in the middle of war, in the middle of chaos, they were a family again. But the father pulled back, his eyes sharp, his voice heavy. This is not over, they will return with more. This battle has only begun. The boy nodded, his small hands gripping the communicator. I will fight with you, father. I will not hide. The man looked at him, pride shining through the sorrow. You already have, my son. You already have. He placed his hand on the boy's shoulder, steady and strong. Above them, the surviving alien ships regrouped, their voices loud and furious. This is not the end. The humans will fall. The bloodline will be broken. The father's eyes narrowed, his voice rising like fire. No, it is only the beginning, and humans do not fall, we rise. The warship's engines roared, preparing for another strike. The villagers gathered behind the family, their fear turning slowly into hope. They saw the boy, small but unbroken. They saw the father, scarred but alive. And for the first time they believed that humans could fight, could stand against the galaxy. The boy looked up at the sky, whispering to himself, "They fear us, and now they will see why." The battle raged on above, lights flashing, ships colliding, the sound shaking the ground, but in the center of it all, one family stood together, stronger than fear, stronger than despair. The boy held his father's hand, his mother by his side, and deep inside, he knew this was only the first chapter of a much greater war. The father raised his weapon, his voice echoing, "To all who stand with humanity, fight with us, for Earth, for our children." The boy's heart burned with pride, his eyes bright with courage, and as the sky lit with fire and war, the family stood united, the future of humanity glowing in their hands. And then, in the silence between blasts, the boy heard the words again, not from the aliens, not from the communicator, but from the stars themselves. "They fear us."